Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my shop. Welcome to my channel. My name's Keith and I'm your host. Come on in. Let's see what our next video is all about. Happy New Year, everybody. Let's see if we can get one more video in before the end of the year. And I want to share a little project that I got, not necessarily the project as a whole is what we're going to cover. We're going to cover an aspect of machining, but I wanted to show you the project that I'm having to, or plays a part with, the need for machining our, in this case, rudder shaft. Alright, we have a fiberglass rudder here. I'm going to set this over here because it will have a tendency to hit the floor. This is a fiberglass rudder. Up here, you can see the wear in it here, and it's cracked and it's loose here, and we've got a lot of wear on the stem, and there's a lot of variables in here that it's time to replace this rudder. So we're making a full stainless steel rudder for him, and the shaft material is an Aquamet 22 material, and the blade is grade 316 stainless steel. And the glass rudder has got the shaft running all the way through, but we want to take away some of that drag, because that stem going all the way through on a flat blade creates water current. It's got to go out and around, and it creates drag. So we want water flow in here. Now we've taken, and we know where a prop wash comes across the rudder because the wear on the outside of the rudder, and we decided what we want for the minimum and maximum length of support for the upper stem, and the same thing for the pintle on the bottom. And we radius everything so there's no stress rising that can start a crack on our welds. Now our shaft diameter is 1.5 inches, and these are radius cuts in here, so we need to radius the end of this shaft. And we're going to go into the closet, and I'm going to set up my tracer, and we're going to create the ball end on these, and I'm going to share that with you for this video. Alright, so let's go on into the closet. Okay, to hold our shaft in the lathe, we're just going to use our 3-jar chuck here. And we're just roughly going to get this in here. We're just going to get the jaws down on it here. We're going to be adjusting the in and out to suit our tracer attachment, and we're going to move to the back of the lathe now, and we're going to remove a shafting tracer pattern, and we're going to be putting in a pattern holder that I made special for this lathe. This is just an extension cord here, or a light cord coming down. Here's your back support on the back of the lathe that holds the tracer attachment. It's a big flat surface with a T-nut slot right down the middle. So this bolting, so you got 2 centers. This is a threaded center this way, and there's a threaded center the other way. You have 2 nuts here that adjust in and out each one, and this is a keeper that keeps this vertical. You can loosen this up, and this thing can flip-flop out of your way and give you more room between your stylus. This is a stylus like a phonograph pickup on an old album. Alright, so this is the spring load. Comes when you release it, then the hydraulics flows in with the pump and then touches and then follows this outside surface right here. Okay, now we're pulling this pattern out here, which happens to be for a 2-inch shaft. And this on a 2-inch shaft, this is the nub at the end, this is the thread diameter, and then this is the actual taper. Alright, and that's how it reads, standard cylindrical tracing. It can follow anything, and this angle that's coming in here is like a 30-degree angle, and that lets you come in and hit faces and come out as well. So it can come into a face and then follow that face out and then come along the outside. It doesn't cut or trace on back sides of objects. Okay, we moved our centers back and moved it towards the chuck all the way as far as the jig can go to the chuck, and then we brought this support out to this end here. This is a flat 3/4 inch bar that I have milled down and drilled the center holes in the end so that the center holes are equal to this split line right here. And then I've drilled and tapped it along here so that we can bolt down patterns to this and use this as center line measurement and hold a pattern so that the stylus can come in and touch and follow the pattern we put or bolt to the top surface here. Alright, now let's go down to the business end of this bar, and we're going to show you how we're going to set up for that ball end on the shaft. We happen to have a ball already on here, and it's just basically a flat disc, but the flat disc on most of these was a round shaft that I parted off the right thickness and then milled a slot, and then was able to add in this feature here because we want to hold it down, but we want to slide it in and slide it forward and aft on the lathe there, or in and out to create half of the diameter or split line. So the stylus would come along here, hit there, and then sweep out around the outside of it. Alright, we're going to pull this one out, and we have numerous radiuses already made up, and I believe this one here is the inch and a half. So we're going to be putting in that one in there. Here's a 2-inch, inch and 3/4. Here's actually one that we cut out, this one here on our plasma cutter, on our plasma cam. We cut that out. Also, here is a radius that we came in with an end mill and then created a radius here so we could come in and then come out, and an angle. It was a certain shape that we needed on our item. So there's many ways to create patterns. Even using the straight line and adjusting here for a gradual, like a taper. I use it like a taper attachment. Any kind of flat pattern on here. Originally it was designed to go ahead and do the side of a cannon with the ribs and all the technicals it needed on there. And we were going to use it for that. And anyway, let's go ahead and change this out, and we're going to get that inch and a half, and then we're going to come in here and we're going to set the stylus to here and put the shaft in the position it needs to be to make it happen. Alright, I found my T-handle, and we'll go ahead and we'll pull this off of here. Alright, and here's the inch and a half. Alright, now we can move this all around wherever we want, but we're just going to kind of bring it right in here for right now. We don't know if we're going to bring it in or out, but it's nice and open. I want to show you how I set this sphere, or the radius, in relationship to our center line. This is always center line. It will be feeding in and out, but eventually when you feed in your tracer, you'll reach center line by just how much you feed in. So once it hits center line, we want this outside edge of our part out at the right diameter. This is inch and a half, so I just went and got a 3/4 inch tool bit. It's the easiest way to figure half of that, and then I like to just feel that that's tiny bit proud, because when you come out to the outside of your part, you don't really want to be digging into it. You could feather a lot of different. Okay, I just said just a thou or two out past that. That way I know when I come in here and I'm working my cuts, I can stop it before it digs in past center and puts an outside you know, lessens the material on the outside or puts a groove or a blim. I'll be able to come in here, go out to the outside, and then back out. Alright, now that we got that in here, we'll put the rest of this away. We're going to keep this handy in case we got to move it any drastic amount, and then we'll go ahead and set up our tool bit in the holder and get set up. Talk a little bit here just before I fire off the phase converter and the lathe and the tracer attachment pump. All right, but the style, I'm going to bring the stylus into here, and I'm going to come down in here. I'm going to work the tool bit here, the part there, and this part here, and I'm going to, in the combination, I'm going to be moving some things around so that we get the start of the end of the shaft and the start of the radius set up at the same time in relationship to the tool. All right, and if I have to stop or change or anything, I'll just break it up. All right, so first off, get that power, get that power. Now I don't have my microphone, and I'm shooting on a very, very old camcorder. All right. So first off, we're going to come in. And we gauge our in and out for how much RAM travel we have. We're comfortable there. So now we're going to come in and we can look at our tool bit here. We're about even with that face there. We still got about 3 inches here. In fact, actually we can just measure that right there. And we can go 3.5 inches. So we can bring this back in 3.5 inches. So there's 5/800. So that would bring it back to 2/300, something like that. That'll bring it back close. Okay, somewhere around in there. Crank in our compound so we can get in just a little bit closer here so we can see it. I'm getting real close to it. Okay, we're right even with it, and we have about a 1/4 inch here to go. So we can move, if we're happy or comfortable right there, I wouldn't want to bring it in any closer than that. We're going to go ahead and move. Make sure we're touching there. Now we're going to move our pattern to suit. Okay, so all we got to do, loosen up our pattern. Bring it into the contact of the stylus, and then fair it out to where we know that we're just barely sticking out past that. Okay, I like that. Now if it needs to adjust from there, we can go in and out on our centers, and we can move the part or the pattern in, or we can let it come back this way and let it take more off of the end of the shaft. All right, let's go up and make a couple passes and see where we're at. Zoom in on this and the stylus at the same time, so I'm just going to take a couple cuts there. We're going to bring you up on the top to watch it follow the curve around, so you'll see how I come in here, and you'll see how it's hitting on the pattern down there. You feed in each time with that compound on that side. one of the problems that I normally run into, and when I'm playing with a different diameter, is I'm coming in close to center line, so I need to extend my tool bit in. Now I always put my tool bit against the back of this rest, and this is a perfectly square block, so I can go ahead and feed out, loosen these two sets, and just slide the tool bit out towards me. And all we need is, we're just lacking an inch of diameter there, so it's only really got to come in about a half an inch. Okay, you can see how far we were from coming in, so let's just go ahead and loosen this up a little bit here. I'm just going to slide it straight out. That's going to be enough. Okay, we're going to back out. Okay, that's about where we were. Okay. Okay, we're starting to get a load here. That just means that we're not going to be cleaning it up in the center there. So we can take our two centers and adjust that way, a couple thousandths. So we just loosen up on this one here and we tighten up on the back one. And that's about a half a turn on the threads there. That's going to be good. All right, I thought I'd bring you in closer for the finishing touches here. Starting to skip again. We can add a little bit more of our forward motion there on a pattern. Okay, and we're just going to make sure that we're tight on the tool bit here, making sure it's not pivoting. Okay, we're going to loosen up on that one. Tighten up on that one. I'm not going to advance it in any. I'm just going to go ahead and bring her in and let's see what we got. There we go. always nice to have a little bit of a positive nub there so you can see the diameter of how much you got to come in. We know it's half of that, okay? That looks like about 100,000, so we know we got at least 50, but we're just creeping up. There's 20. If this is, you can set a 0 when it touches here. When it gets out, or you went with your travel dial 3/4 of an inch, if that cut is matching up, you can also gauge that. Alright, right there we're touching, so we're just going to set our travel dial. We're just playing around right here because we're showing you how to work that radius. Okay, and we're going to crank it in 10. There we go. Okay, it stopped about an inch. So my theory on that was all blowing the hell because you're following the radius around with that stylus. But this distance right here to here, that is the distance that I was referring to. We're at 5/8 right now. So coming in at 30 degrees and traveling around that direction there makes an inch of travel on the lathe. Okay, this is going to be pretty darn close right here. We can go another one. See, there's still a little nub right there. That last little one, it advanced this cut out here quite a bit. It almost looked like maybe about 50,000 or so. Let's look at where we're at. We're just under 3/4 of an inch. That's enough of the ball right there for a shape that we're going to put in for that weld to come around and not have any stress rising areas on that rudder blade. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the example of how I create the ball end on the end of a shaft and how I incorporate the tracer attachment over on the clothing. Here again, Happy New Year. I'm really looking forward to next year. It's gonna be it's gonna be a big push in January because I'm gonna be flooded with projects that my customers are trying to jam in on me, because I'm going to take the entire month of February. Lisa and I are going to pack up our new e-bikes and we're going to hit the road with the truck, and we're going to go down along the East Coast, and we'll stop at Williamsburg, Myrtle Beach, Savannah, Daytona, and then we're going to be all over Florida, down towards the end of the tip of Florida there. Orlando, Fort Myers, Fort Meade for the Florida Flywheelers event. You want to meet up with me and other YouTubers that are going to be showing up at that event. That's the event. You're going to catch us there. The February event, Florida Flywheelers at Fort Meade. I'm also going to be down in the Florida Keys, Miami, Orlando, Tampa, and so hey, that's what February is going to be all about. But we're going to be jamming everything into this next month. So I'm going to try to get you as many new videos, and I hope things are exciting that coming along. And we'll touch bases again where we line board those glass tubes, and we have a skeg, and we have a rudder, and we have a few other things. And I'll get down there on the boat and actually show you guys how it's glassed in place. It just left today. They're going to sweat the two pieces together. They're going to be bringing that back to the shop, and then I'll go ahead and I'll thread the bearings, install the bearings, put in the dimples. It'll be ready to head back down that way. Alright, so we're getting ready to blow out of here tomorrow. We're going to go someplace special up north for New Year's Eve, and I hope everybody has a special New Year's Eve, and God bless you. Till next time, get her done.